On this week's show, another Flame makes the big leagues and the incredible story of a former Liberty women's basketball player and a tragic accident that's changed her life.
Plus, we catch up with Kieran Vincent to find out how his time at Liberty helped launch his pro golf career. This is Flame Central.
You picked the right week to tune into Flame Central. We have some incredible feature stories coming your way and so much more. As always, alongside Emily Austin, I'm Matt Warner.
We'll tell you about the newest former Flame to crack the big leagues in just a moment. But first, we start in a smaller diamond with Liberty softball.
Yeah, we had ourselves a good old-fashioned top 25 showdown this week as number 24 Liberty traveled to number 11 Virginia Tech. Now, you might remember the Hokies won this matchup in Lynchburg earlier this season. Could the Lady Flames return the favor in Blacksburg? Well, this one would not start well for Liberty. The first hitter of the game for Virginia Tech, Corey McMillan, drives it out of the yard. Tech would go on to score twice in the first inning and take an early 2-0 lead. The home crowd absolutely loving it. Same score now in the third. This time it's Jordan Lynch at the plate, and she too would leave the building. A 3-run shot. The Hokies go up 5-0. Unfortunately for Liberty on this night, the offense could just never get on track. Liberty gets shut out by the final of 6-0. That snaps an 8-game win streak for the Lady Flames.
Well, on a positive note, there's nothing quite like opening day of Major League Baseball. It's the beginning of a journey unlike any other. A season of 162 ball games. Although former Flame Mason Fluharty didn't get to experience opening day, it's always exciting no matter when you hear your name called up to that 40-man roster, which the pitcher did experience on March 30th. During his time here at Liberty, Fluharty was one of the ASUN Conference's top relief pitchers. In 2022, he led the Flames with 26 appearances, holding opponents to a .230 batting average. After being drafted by the Blue Jays in the 5th round, the lefty worked his way up quickly in the minor leagues. Last season, he pitched in AAA Buffalo, where he produced a 3.63 ERA across 56 relief appearances. He also struck out more than 10 per 9 innings while walking a respectable 3.4 per 9. And he's not the only former Flame playing in the big leagues this season. This is an impressive list for Liberty. Fluharty has a familiar face on his team up there in Toronto. Infielder Will Wagner, who made the opening day roster and has gotten off to a strong start for the Jays. And finally, pitcher Frazier Ellard is still with the Chicago White Sox. You may remember he made his big league debut back in July of last season. We'll keep you posted on all of their success this year.
From 2012 through 2016, Ashley Rininger was a force for Liberty women's basketball. She would finish her career as one of the best bigs to ever put on a Liberty uniform. And off the court, she was just as good, earning academic All-American honors twice. She made everything she did look easy until suddenly it wasn't. A freak accident would change everything.
I remember the flight.
911, what's your emergency?
I remember flying around.
Sean hit the ground hard.
And then that's the last thing I remember.
Dispatch, requesting medevac at scene. Please stand by. We'll give you any information we have as soon as possible.
I think she could have a big game against the Chanticleers.
Rininger fouled, and it's good.
Ashley Rininger Scott was a standout player for Liberty women's basketball.
And Ashley Rininger, in the right place at the right time, picks up a steal and a nice bucket off the glass.
Finishing her college career ranked near the top of the school's all-time leaders in rebounds, blocked shots, and points.
And Rininger, nice looking shot inside.
My time at Liberty helped kind of just grow me as a person, grow me in my faith, and just build a really strong foundation for me to just continue moving forward in life.
And they're giving an address again at 6402 North Central.
Ashley is now a detective with the Cleveland, Ohio Police Department, and she works out of the 4th District, an area of Cleveland that's considered to be the most dangerous.
A mass shooting here in Cleveland capped off a violent night across Northeast Ohio.
I have a code 1 shot fired.
Ashely currently serves as an investigator on the Violent Crimes Task Force, an area of law enforcement that's quickly becoming her specialty.
Specifically, dealing with a lot of shootings and a lot of robberies involving guns.
We have 2 victims of GSWs and 3 more victims.
I really enjoy just the ability to help people, to kind of enter into like some of the most crisis of situations.
Black jacket, gray sweater, jeans, armed with a gun.
To be able to arrest people that are harming others.
The call of the person's shot came in at...
When Ashely's not making the streets safer for the people of Cleveland, you can find her and her husband Gabe in some of the most picturesque places on earth.
We are definitely outdoors people. Yeah, that's probably one of the most common ways that we like to spend time together. With her job being very demanding, she really looks forward to planning trips, and usually like national parks are part of that.
In October of 2023, the couple would hit the road for another planned adventure. This time, the destination would be the stunning and uniquely diverse terrain of the Western U.S.
When we travel, we like to look for not necessarily extreme activities, but things that are kind of more thrilling.
We saw that there's an area that is really well known for paragliding and hang gliding.
Point of the Mountain Flight Park in Draper, Utah, is considered by flyers to be one of the top destinations in North America for the sport.
It was very busy. I was really shocked at how many people gathered on this hillside.
And once Gabe and Ashely began speaking with the instructors, the couple quickly learned they had an issue.
There was a weight limit.
Gabe was grounded, but Ashely would fly tandem with seasoned flight instructor Joshua Ellison.
I remember the flight. It was a beautiful day. It was perfectly blue sky, not a cloud in sight, and like you could see for miles and miles across the valley. It was beautiful. And we were so high up in the air. So it was simultaneously like frightening and also like really cool at the same time. After about 20 minutes of flying, he said, okay, like it's time, we're gonna start heading towards landing.
Another gentleman in a hang glider, he got really close to them.
We started kind of coming closer to the ground towards where we were gonna land.
Somehow he got kind of turned into their parachute line. And then his hang glider actually collapsed their parachute lines. It tangled them together.
That's the last thing I remember.
And they spiraled.
What happened?
A hang glider collided with a paraglider. Turned around, heard a yell, saw him hit the ground hard. It was hard.
Initially, I was shocked that they just fell out of the sky. A whole group of us started to kind of run over to the site, and all 3 of them were sort of tangled in this sort of mess. I ran straight over to Ashely, and she was actually just unresponsive at the time. They sent a medical helicopter to the hillside. They had the team of EMTs that came over with a stretcher board, and we had to load her up. She was still breathing and stuff, but clearly like really shocked and hurt. And I think that's where I started to get really worried of like, what's gonna happen now? And like, what does this mean?
The next memory that I have is waking up in the hospital. I have no idea what happened, but I remember that I was paragliding right before this, so it's like I would assume it has to do with that.
The surgeon informs Gabe that Ashely will need emergency surgery to repair her fractured spine, and she may have severed her spinal cord.
He explained to me, he's like, I can't promise that she's not gonna be paralyzed. And I said, okay, like, do whatever you have to do.
For the next 5 hours, Gabe would patiently wait and update friends and family on Ashely's condition. It was during this time he would learn that the instructor, 44-year-old Joshua Ellison, had died from injuries sustained at the accident.
That's when I felt like the wind had got knocked out of me. And I think I did a lot of praying, a lot of just like, I'm like, God, I don't know why this happened. I don't know why it happened here and now. I'm thankful that she's still alive and we can handle whatever comes.
The surgery to repair Ashely's spine was a success, and surgeons concluded that there was no damage to her spinal cord, but Ashely would need several more surgeries before a full recovery could begin.
I had broken the pelvis in 5 different places, and they had to wait, I think it was 24 hours before they could do surgery on that. So in addition to the spine and the pelvis, I dislocated my right shoulder. I dislocated my sternum. I tore my rotator cuff and labrum in my left shoulder. I had internal bleeding in my kidneys and liver. I had both of my lungs collapse. The first couple of days in the hospital, I just remember being just overwhelmingly thankful to still be alive and thankful that I wasn't going to be paralyzed.
Over the next 4 weeks, Gabe and Ashely would live in Utah.
Good.
And besides visits from close friends and family, the couple would rely on the generosity and support from local first responders and law enforcement.
They visited us in the hospital, just complete strangers. And so a lot of my needs outside of her being in the hospital, but a place to stay, a vehicle, those were actually provided through other officers in the area.
5. That was excellent.
Once discharged from the hospital, Ashely would still need 24-hour care at a skilled nursing facility. And the couple would be eager to begin those next steps of recovery at home in Ohio. But this would require a medical jet with the medical staff on board, and the availability plus the cost seemed impossible.
We were telling all of our family and friends, we're like, just pray that somehow God can bring someone who can provide this.
And just days before Ashely was scheduled to be discharged, the couple's prayers would be answered.
It was a group called Jet ICU. They got in touch with us, and I mean, we just started crying. I read the text and I'm like, I think we have a flight home.
At the time, my pelvis, my back, everything was so sensitive. And so I just remember at first being really, really uncomfortable, but they did a fantastic job of taking care of me.
Once back in Ohio, Ashely would spend several weeks in a skilled nursing home and then transition to a rehab facility before finally making it back to the couple's home. A home Ashely hadn't seen in nearly 2 months.
It was just such a blessing to be back home, to no longer have beeping machines while I'm trying to sleep.
I quickly had to learn how to be a caretaker, whether it be helping her in and out of bed, getting dressed, getting food, I mean, so many needs. She felt like she was a big burden, she felt kind of guilty that she wasn't able to do a lot on her own, but I'm like, we will get there again.
I just remember looking at my body and being like, I think it should be able to move. My entire life, I've been physically able-bodied, I've been extremely active, very athletic, never had to think anything about being able to just move and do whatever I wanted to do.
That's also been a blessing to see the kind of recovery that she's made, knowing how limited she was and how much her body was just traumatically injured.
And exactly 1 year after the accident, Ashely and Gabe would hit the road again and travel back to Utah.
We called it our victory lap. We got to say, hey, I can actually walk into and out of the hospital now, and last time I was still in a wheelchair. We got to thank everyone that helped us. They had never seen me really stand up. So as I walked in to greet all of them and to thank them, they were very surprised at how tall I was. These are the cards that we received while we were in the hospital in Utah.
It had a dog in it.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
I think I've found that even in difficult times and even in circumstances that you don't really want to go through, God is still good and He's still providing every step of the way.
This one has a special offer inside. You can see the reality of what it means to walk by faith when you are brought really, really low, when you feel like it's no longer your own strength, your own capability, your own, resources. The way that God met our needs can only be explained by His miraculous power in our lives.
While we might not understand it, and I don't think we ever will, we can trust that God is going to use us for His glory. We can trust that He's still faithful, even when life is hard.
Thanks to our John Pratt for producing that incredible story. I can't imagine the frustration that Ashely must have felt. This was an elite athlete.
Yeah.
And now suddenly you saw the video, barely being able to move her arms, learning almost to walk again. There must have been some frustrating times in that journey back to health.
Yeah, but those are the small, quiet moments where you need to lean on the Lord.
Yeah.
the most, which is what Ashley did. It was cool to see the community come around
Absolutely.
her as well during this fight back.
Just a great story, and we're glad she's getting better. All right, well, we step aside now, but when we return from a random email to playing professional golf, we bring you the story of Kieran Vincent.
Then Brett McGibbon joins the show to name the top Liberty athletes of the week. It's Warm, Hot, and Fuego next.
At Liberty University, we understand life can be unpredictable, and when you need a resilient career, your education should withstand any test. So we've made sure the degree you need is within reach by freezing one of the lowest tuition rates in the nation for 8 years and counting, and giving scholarships, discounts, and credit for work you've already done. Because we're proud of what you do. We've done this for over 30 years, and we know how to help. We're here to help you.
Welcome back to Flame Central. Finally, the weather is warming here in Lynchburg, so it's about that time to hit the links again. Unless you're former Liberty golfer Kieran Vincent. He's been playing golf in beautiful locations all over the world on the Asian tour. But no matter where this game has taken him, it's the man he became here at Liberty that drives his success on the course today. If you're looking for Kieran Vincent, you'll most likely find him on the golf course. But that wasn't always the case in the early days.
Honestly, golf was never my first love, I'm going to be honest. My first actual true love was field hockey. Loved it from the get-go, and was kind of saddened the fact I didn't choose that sport, but after a couple of years, it was only till about the age of like 15 did I really kind of grasp golf, and I realized where golf could take you, and like the depths and the things that you could achieve through golf.
And golf took the Zimbabwean far early in life, traveling the world, and more importantly, he was really good. Kieran participated in more than 60 amateur tournaments during his high school days, representing the Zimbabwe amateur national team. The next step in his career was finding a place to play collegiate golf.
I remember sitting down and my brothers told me like, hey, a good way for you to get out there and speak to a whole bunch of people is if you send out your like CV, basically what you've done and what you've accomplished over the years. I sent off my email. I probably got it edited about 45 times because I didn't know what the right thing to say or do was. I think I sent over about 70-something emails. And luckily, Liberty was one of the few coaches that got back to me.
September 6, 2014. It says, Dear Mr. Thomas, I'm currently a Zimbabwe representative junior golfer with a +1 handicap finishing off my school in Zimbabwe. And I would be very grateful if you would consider my application for a place on your golf team.
That communication was the first step to Kieran becoming a Liberty Flame. And in 2016, he hit the ground running.
He went and won his first event at Duke, which was amazing. He beat a bunch of guys that play on tour right now. That was just incredible, really, to go. I think he shot 15 under in 3 rounds, which was great.
I slowly grew to love everything that Liberty stood for, and it was from a couple of months in that I really kind of find my niche and find my groove from there.
Kieran went on to be named the 2017 Big South Rookie of the Year and compiled quite the resume over the next 6 seasons.
Everyone tells you, college is the best 4 years of your life. I mean, I said, why not make it 6 then, hey?
He currently sits second in program history with 25 career top 10 finishes. But for Kieran, it's what he gained off the course that was the most valuable.
Liberty was awesome. It really taught me a lot, both on and off the golf course, which was nice. We had such a close knit of people that it really just made it super special. Being able to kind of see the life that people lived right in front of you, on a day-to-day basis, was powerful and impactful.
He did definitely grow in his experiences here. A lot of times you self-evaluate and you feel like you're not doing enough as far as leading the guys spiritually or leading them to grow. And so it's good when you hear those things.
Growing in Christ with this man has been a true blessing and honor.
A couple of years in, I really saw them and saw the life that they lived, and I was like, I want a piece of that.
Today, Kieran is taking the man he's become, playing the sport he loves all over the world. And he's still really, really good. Kieran won the International Series Vietnam on the Asian Tour in April of 2023. He's also made stops on the PGA Tour Canada and the LIV Tour, winning at Mayakoba on John Rahm's team in 2024.
I don't even know if I can put it to words, to be fair. It's been something so special, so unique. It's been a roller coaster, to say the least. I never thought it would happen this quickly. I always believed in myself, and I really thought I could do some things in this game, but I think I've really been blessed beyond my wildest measures, and to be able to be in this experience is nothing short of amazing.
Even with all of this success on the course, Kieran is staying grounded in his faith and taking life one shot at a time.
That's the unique thing of being a Christian, is being able to, sit back and reflect on what God's given you. I'm very fortunate with people around me to be able to sit down and be like, hey, let's actually just take a breath. Let's sit and realize what you have been actually blessed with. And that's been a very, very cool thing, because it's been so fast, but there's been so many cool life learning opportunities and life learning things that have happened along the way. And it's been nice to reflect on that and seeing the beauty in all of it.
Great work by Emily on that piece. Oh, by the way, Kieran's playing some great golf here of late. Finished tied for 14th in his most recent tournament. Rhett McGibbon joins us now. Time for Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Top player moment from the past week in Liberty Athletics. Kieran Vincent was on this list a number of times during his playing career. Rhett, who do we have on the list this week?
Can I say this about Kieran real quick? He's one of those guys, all-time favorite athlete that came through Liberty. You see him in the grocery store, and he would stop and talk to you for 10, 15 minutes about life. He would ask me, how are your kids doing?
Might not anymore now that he's made that big money on the Asian Tour. Right?
Maybe
he might big time you now. I don't know.
Great guy overall. Great guy. All right, talking here warm really quick. Mackenzie Lehman on the women's lacrosse team. This young lady, injury last year, right? That was a big blow to the Lady Flames. Comes in this season, and you think, okay, recovering from an injury, that can be tough. Still, second on the team in points and goals, 31 goals this season, and she had a big fourth quarter against Queens. They're down, it's kind of back and forth, and in that fourth quarter scores 2 goals. The third one, the hat trick, comes as the game winner with time winding down. A big goal for them as they continue to do pretty well. They had a tough start to the season, but they figured their way out here as of late.
Yeah, great to see her healthy again this year. All right, from warm, we go to hot.
All right, we go to women's tennis doubles.
Okay.
O'Neill and Trichetto. Sounds like a law firm, right?
Yes,
If you have problems, if you've been injured, find O'Neill and Trichetto. Daniela O'Neill from Puerto Rico and Maria Trichetto from Brazil. These two just put together recently, are currently sitting at 4-0, but now they're back-to-back CUSA doubles team of the week. They did well against FIU. FIU, a ranked team in the top 50, 46, knocked off them. So this is a group that as you head towards the conference tournament, which is right around the corner, might I add, this is one where you'd love to see them be able to kind of help this team get that doubles point that can be so big in collegiate tennis.
Absolutely. All right, Rhett, finally it all leads to this. Our Enfuego athlete this week is who?
It's a team this week,
We're going with the team.
And we don't typically do this. Maybe once a year we dip into the club ranks. The women's hockey team here at Liberty winning their 7th national title in the last 10 years.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolute decade of dominance for this group. They beat number 2 Maryville. That's a team out of the St. Louis area in double overtime. And man, it was a pretty goal. You'll see it coming up here in just a few minutes. Zasha Adamek would be the tournament MVP. She throws on the spinorama, cuts in, top shelf snipe in double overtime. It doesn't get much better than that. And Coach Lowe's and these girls, this one had a ton of freshmen on this team. I think near 8 freshmen. And they still are able to get the job done. Congratulations to them. Again, can you imagine winning 7 titles in a decade? That's absolutely incredible.
I mean, take that, Nick Saban. You thought you were all that? Forget it. Chris Lowe's. He's the Nick Saban of women's hockey. Can we call him that?
I like it.
All right, good. All right, Rhett, thanks. We appreciate it as always. Hey, still to come, one Liberty student athlete received a big honor for his work in the classroom. We'll tell you who it is when Flame Central returns.
Tucked away in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Lynchburg, Virginia, you'll find us, Liberty University. Here, we pursue excellence in all of our academic endeavors, from anywhere. We fight for victory in our athletic programs and fan the flames with a mighty roar. We equip students with a Christ-centered perspective that changes lives. We are creators, problem solvers, and world changers. But above all of this, we are champions for Christ.
Hey there, welcome back to the show. Of course, we love highlighting Liberty athletes for what they do in their sport, but every so often, we get to highlight them for their classroom achievements as well.
Yeah, and in the case of pole vaulter Hunter Flack, he's being recognized for what he has done and hopes to do in the classroom. This week, Flack was surprised with the Dr. Pepper Go Teach Award presented to him at a team meeting. The award is given to an outstanding student athlete who is pursuing a degree in education.
Flack not only won the award for Liberty student athletes, but for all of Conference USA, which means a $12,500 scholarship, something he will certainly make use of as he studies to be a teacher.
I'm just really thankful to receive this award. I was never expecting it, but really motivates me to just keep giving it my all and make an impact for these students' lives.
Congrats to him. Hey, be sure to check out the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. A new episode drops every Monday.
Yeah, and for any stories that you might have missed along the way, libertyflamecentral.com is your place to check out as well.
Well, before we go, we do want to pass along some sad news.
Yeah, you may remember a little boy named Levi. We did a story about this past fall. He had been diagnosed with cancer and had become a valuable part of the Liberty soccer program. Well, unfortunately, Levi passed away this past week. Please keep his family and friends in your prayers as they go through this tough time. And we are certainly thankful that we know Levi is with Jesus and doesn't have to battle cancer any longer.